Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, I want to get back to answer some comments and questions. Then I want to go on and explain to you why I think it is that all currencies are going to an exchange rate of 1 for 1, okay? So before we do, though, I want to get back to answering some of the comments and questions under some of the videos, okay? Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code PIMPYSILVER. Yes, it has changed. PIMPYSILVER. So if you're watching this video and it's an older video, make sure you check on current videos, because the code is going to be changing from time to time from now on. Also, I can be found on other platforms. Everybody knows I have my own website, Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I post videos that I can't get away with over on YouTube. Also, I have a group on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. Come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. You can also come follow me on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and Odyssey. The links for all these platforms will be down below in the description. So for whatever reason, if I get removed off of one platform, you could find me on the others. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. Feel free to pause the video, go ahead and write it down, or reach out to me. So again, what I'm going to do is just, respond to some comments and questions on some of the videos that I put out recently, and then get back to explaining why it is these currencies will be 1 to 1. Okay, in this video right here, I was talking about where it is that I got the exchange rate, $1.19. What's going to happen with our dinar when they redenominate the currency? Who, how, where will we be able to exchange our notes for the new notes when this happens? I think that we will most likely be left holding the worthless currency that we have today. No, that's not going to happen. Now, I told you guys that I was going to reach out to the currency exchanges and get input from them. I just haven't done it yet, so I'll do that and get back to you. But we're not going to be left with some worthless currency. We'll be able to exchange it. Now, whether or not they want to charge us a little fee to do so, that might be different. But let me get clarity from all of them, and then I'll get back to you guys. Hi, Pimpy. So if they remove the zeros from the currency, what will happen to the old currency? Is it only the $25,000 note? How can they afford to make new currency? I agree. All the corrupt factions, ISIS and government, need to be removed before anything can happen. If the corrupt factions can still get their hands on it and use it to be destructive, it only causes delays on the exchange rate of the currency. Look, governments are always going to be corrupt. There's no doubt about it. But by redenominating, it would address the currency that's out there now. And there is a ton of it that's in the wrong people's hands, so to speak. So you could go ahead and redenominate your currency, and then that currency becomes worthless. Okay, then people say, well, they could just exchange it. It's not that easy. When we're talking about a large amount of currency. So sure, they could find a way to go ahead and exchange it, but most likely not. And the reason why I say that is they're going to question anybody who has a very large amount of currency to exchange. Of course, if they're going to redenominate, that would be the time for them to drop the zeros. So the look of the currency would change, as well as the value. So you'd have single dinars, 5 dinars, 10, 20, 25, 50, 100 dinars, just like we do for the most part over here. And so the old currency would then be obsolete. In other words, no good. But I'm sure we'll have time to go ahead and swap our currency out. You know, you just can't screw over a lot of people who are legitimately holding on to the Iraqi dinar. So if it were to happen, it would give us a window of opportunity in which to go ahead and make the exchange. And of course, I guarantee everybody that makes dinar videos would let us know. All right. Pimpy now has its own theme song. Yeah, I went over to that and I heard it. That's funny. It's called The Other Side of Things, so it's pretty good. Thanks. I don't know what you heard about me, because I'm the PIMP. That's right. So if they're going to change the currency and we won't be able to exchange, what are we all doing here? Why create videos? Nobody said that we wouldn't be able to exchange it. We'll be able to exchange it. Let me get the details for you. I will reach out to all the different exchanges like Exchange of America. I'll reach out to like Safe Dinar, and I'll find out what their policy is in regards to swapping out our currency. I'm sure this has happened to them before, and I'm sure there's got to be some policy and some procedure that they have for when a currency changes. Well, now if Pimpy is saying $1.19, then just maybe it might be. Okay. I thought you was Creole like me. I'm Creole, my brother. China is helping right now. I don't know how it will help. The only thing that China can do for Iraq is go in there and honor their agreements. So they promise to come in and do some things, help with the infrastructure for Iraq in exchange for oil is what they're doing. Not conclusively, rate or not consistently. Too much conspiracy. Wait and see next month or more longer. Based on what's going on, the odds are most likely that the currency would go up in increments. You're not going to see any major boom as far as it jumping up in value. It's just not going to happen. That's the big elephant in the room that most wants to go away is with the big notes. There's too much dinar in circulation, like 150 trillion, and bad guys stole a lot of them and are hoping for the rate to go up. That makes it reasonable. They might redenominate the big notes. Sad but true. So, Mark, here it is. You know, it's not just the big notes, but if they redenominate the currency, they'll do it all. Because when a dinar is being stolen, it isn't just stolen in big notes. They're stealing it in all denominations. Howdy, Pimpy. How you doing? That's what I call a research Pimpy Lee. Thank you for all your work you do. You're very welcome. If we can go from 1,450 to 1 to 1,700 to 1 to 1,300 to 1 in just a matter of months, with that kind of volatility, I don't even need to understand the mechanics of it. It's pretty clear the pace and force with which the dinar pendulum swings is on the increase. Okay, but just so you are aware, you're talking about two different types of rate changes. Okay, so the 1,450 to 1 is an official exchange rate. The 1,700 to 1 was the market exchange rate. And the 1,300 to 1 is the official rate change. So we went from 1,190 dinars, which is an official rate, to 1,450 dinars, which is an official rate, back to 1,300 dinars, which is the official rate. The 1,700 to 1 dinars was the market rate, which is totally different. Pimpy, look for the agreement between Iraq and Kuwait. Agreement, I believe it was signed in 2014, stating the currency would be plus minus a few cents of each other. Well, here's the thing. No country would sign some kind of agreement with another country promising to change their exchange rate. So I'm not sure where you got that from, but that would not happen. So you wouldn't see like Iraq going, well, look, our exchange rate is here, but we'll sign an agreement to do something together, and we'll go ahead and change our exchange rate. It doesn't work that way. Great analysis, Pimpy, but can you tell me how much is there of the 25K and 10K IQD? I guess you can figure out what I'm thinking of. Here's the thing. I don't know how much each of the denomination is out there, but if they go ahead and they redenominate, it's going to be for all of the currencies, not just the high notes. You gave a superb explanation of the facts. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Sounds like you just described Charlie Ward. Sadly, many are still following that fraud. Yeah, most of the time I'm talking about him or Simon. The Simon is a guy that allegedly somebody had committed suicide over, but the thought of it was just unbelievable. Usually I say whatever. If people out there want to do their own thing, have at it. But when somebody dies over it, then I'm going to say something. And unfortunately, the word is that more than one person has committed suicide. I could tell you from personal experience, I've had to talk a couple of people off the ledge who were just depressed because of crap that they said. So I'm so satisfied to you, friend. Thank you. I appreciate it. They're from Toledo, Ohio. I got my dinar from them, but I didn't get into the hedge fund. Glad I didn't. Damon is talking about, so when someone says to me, do I think the Iraqi dinar is a scam? I said, no, it's a currency. People use the currency to commit fraud is what it is. And I went on to talk about a case involving those over there in Ohio. And Damon said that, hey, that's where I got my currency from, but I didn't fall into the trap. So congrats on that one. I'll watch it, but didn't Sudini say $3.46? No, I don't know where you got that from. That's what I mean when it comes to people talking about the exchange rate. There are many different things being said out there, but no, there's nobody committing to any one exchange rate. Not right now. You see on here, how does that even make sense? That a country keep printing different denominations, let alone designing and costing prints is not cheap. It costs money and time. Doing math is one thing, but applying into world economics is another story. P.S. You didn't see the dinar get punished in increments straight from 322 for one dinar down to... okay, so you're making the same case that a lot of other people do. Hey, Pimp, if they dropped it from 322 down to whatever the dinar rate was when they devalued it as punishment, shouldn't it go up the same way? No, they don't have to, nor should they. You have no idea what that would do to the economy. It's going to go up in increments. As far as the deletion of the zeros, there's talk about it. And that's why I'm saying if they do decide to delete the zeros, it would happen right when they denominate. Because that's what makes the most sense. If you're going to turn around and create new dinars, then that's when you would turn around and delete the 3 zeros. Hey, Pimpalicious, I have a question. Since you're stuck here in Cali, yep, call me California. What is everybody talking about this in the Sarah Jacera business? Everyone is going off on it. What's your take on this madness? Thanks in advance. Yeah, I've done a ton of videos on the Sarah Jacera before it was removed from the platform. And just like with the Iraqi dinar and the Vietnam dong, my approach to the Sarah Jacera was different than everybody else's. And I didn't go around making up stories about Trump's white hat and their clones and everybody's been to Gitmo and they've been executed and, you know, that kind of crap. I didn't go down that path. What I did was take each one of the items off the list and go through and try to prove or debunk them is what I did. So I have a ton of those videos. I keep telling people I'm going to re-release them, but I think what I want to do is revisit the videos and just watch them and then critique what I said and to see how much has changed since then. Something along those lines. 506B, CARES Act, International Lawyer, PPM. Not sure what that means, but okay. IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, and BIS, which is the Bank of International Standards, in case you are having a slip of memory. Oh, okay. When I was talking about the banks over in Iraq were doing what they could to make sure they lined up with the international standards necessary to work with the global community. Yeah, it's Basel's what they're talking about. Basel 1, Basel 2, Basel 3, which comes from the BIS, by the way. So just forget about what everybody else is saying about the dinar. It's not worth having is what it sounds like. No, I'm not saying that. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is how the exchange rate is going to take place is not the way other people are saying it. It's going to happen one or two ways. And one of those ways is it's going to go up in increments. And that's exactly what I said was going to happen. So when the dinar was at 1,450 dinars for every $1, and they kept mentioning that they're going to change the exchange rate, everybody was going around saying, oh, it's going to be over $1 for every dinar. And I was like, no, it's not. It's just going to be a small increase. They went to 1,300 dinars for every $1, and that's how they're going to do it. They're just going to do it in small increments. Now, having said that, there's a good chance that it might go up maybe one more time. I ain't paying attention to what Al Sadini and his cabinet are talking about when it comes to this exchange rate. They have not put out the budget yet, and there's a good chance that we might see another small increase. It really just depends on how the 1,300 dinars is affecting the economy currently. And that's what we notice them saying recently is that they're still focused on the exchange rate. And I notice he keeps saying that even after they made the change to 1,300 dinars for every $1. So I'm curious to see what happens once the budget goes out. Because once the budget goes out, then we know whatever rate it is at the time, unless they tend to make an amendment to the budget. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables out there. And Al-Sudini is doing everything he can to make sure that Iraq is back on track. The only issue that Iraq has is, unfortunately, that government that is there, they're more loyal to the people in Iran than they are to their own people. So that's the issue that we have with the current government that's there. And that's why you see the United States putting a squeeze down on Iraq. Thank you for keeping us informed without all the BS. It's much appreciated. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Almost as exciting as yesterday's Super Bowl game, this also helps the uninformed to understand the situation in Iraq and a bit about geopolitics. Yes, definitely. Yeah, the Super Bowl was not bad. I actually enjoyed it, even though I had to dye my hair green because I thought for sure that Cincinnati Bengals would be there, and that was my punishment. I've been holding since 2006 and hope it finally does. Hard to believe it's been so long, 20 years. And the Kuwait dinar was only down for a few months before it RV'd. It actually was an RI. There's a difference between an RV and RI. It was reinstated. An RV is when you revalue a currency. And we saw revalue when the Iraqi dinar went from 1,190 dinars to 1,450. That is RV. And RI is when you had a exchange rate. For whatever reason, they changed it. And then once it was done, they just reinstated it. And that's what happened to Kuwait. Time will tell if anyone's guess is right. I had mine so long, might as well wait to see what happens. Good luck to all the dinarians, fingers crossed. Yeah, look, that's all we can do. Seriously, it's out of our control. Absolutely is out of our control. Because all the crap that's being said out there is just speculation. All they have is speculation. Everybody talks about how they got this intel and this special, this special insider guy. They're just lying to you. Because they've been saying that now for years. And if they had intel, well, then their intel's terrible. Terrible. Has their intel ever been right? No. And there's always an excuse why they're not right, why it's not where it said it was going to be. So it's just bullcrap, all right? I'm the one person that makes sure that we stay grounded and doesn't get all caught up in the hype. Where are you getting this information that the IQD will become 1-to-1 equal to the US dollar? I'm not finding information of any kind suggesting a 1-for-1 exchange rate between the IQD and the USD. I'll explain here in just a couple of minutes, so just hang tight. Why all those plans wouldn't increase the dinar make more sense? There are a lot of factors involved whenever it comes to figuring out what the exchange rate should be for a currency. That's why you'll see me every couple months go over how it is that they come up with their exchange rate. There is a lot of things that are taken in consideration. There are criterias out there. And Iraq just having to sell oil isn't it. There's a lot of other things that have to be taken in consideration. The goal is to get every national currency backed by gold and trading at 1-to-1. But until this happens, the existing fiat currency needs to be made right and whole. That's what the revaluation of currency is. They won't be 1-to-1 until backed by gold. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see us all go back to the gold standard. I really would. Because that really does limit the spending of our governments. It limits their power as well. So I would love to see that happen. But they can go to a 1-to-1 without being backed by gold. You would just have to get the nations to agree to that. But being backed by gold means your currency does have value. And that's way more better than if it wasn't backed by gold. Thank you, Pimpy. Wishing everyone all the best. I got your text. Watch your mailbox. I will. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying as we know better days are coming for everyone in the world. Yeah, God willing. Very informative. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you. I appreciate you guys tuning in. CBI raised into 1,300 to 1 USD. This to make up for losses and to start strengthening purchasing power. Well, yeah, exactly. And that's why they got to do it in small increments. And I know everybody wants it to jump up really quick, but it's just not going to happen. There might be a reason to do a couple increases, really small, and then maybe jump up a little bit bigger. But for the most part, I just don't see that happening. They just want to make sure that they don't shock the economy. Pimpy, why don't you stop it? Your clown update is hilarious. My clown update? Why don't I stop what? Talking about the Iraqi dinar? Can we still exchange our Iraqi dinar? Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. Very good news, but when will we be able to exchange our dinars? Alt Silva, the psychic, also says it will be 1-to-1. Yeah, I know who Alt Silva is. I saw her on Jay and April's videos. Greetings, Pimpy, and thank you. I wanted to ask if you heard any news on the Venezuela Bolivar. Not yet. Again, Venezuela, Iraq, and Africa, they're some of the richest nations in the world, but their people are just poor. And it has more to do with their government being greedy and corrupt than anything else. What you hope for is that the people rise up and do something about the corrupt government. and then get back on track is what you hope for. So our dinar will be digital and not physical money. So we won't get the money because they only want to give each person $2,000 a month. Is that right? I don't know where you got that from. Who wants to only give us $2,000 a month? They do want it to be digital, but I don't know where you get it. It's only going to be $2,000 a month. Thank you, Pimpy. You're very welcome. We are moving in the right direction. Give it time to float. Yeah, absolutely. As Iraq continues to get stronger and the economy changes and they get away from relying so much on oil revenue to help with their budget, then the stronger the currency becomes. 323 or more, that would be nice. Also heard her say, pledge allegiance to the New World Order, huge red flag. Yeah, we're talking about in the video I had played, it showed Chicago's mayor, Lori Lightfoot, explaining what it is they have in mind. And she's talking about moving into these smart cities. And she was saying that the people that control these smart cities, council members and police officers who are all loyal to the New World Order is what she said. So yeah, she absolutely said that. Oh yeah, Pimpy Rich, yeah, that would be nice. Taking a knee is also a Masonic symbol. If you want to see something interesting, when a player dropped after a tackle and everyone surrounded him while the medics worked on him, the only one standing had the number 33, another Masonic symbol. So that's what I love about you guys. Find something crazy about a lot of things that are out there. You've been proven right over and over. You know, so far, I mean, again, if I'm wrong, I have no problem with coming on and letting people know that I'm wrong. But I'm just trying to keep people grounded is all I am. So thank you. The dinar will go 1-to-1. Yes, I believe that. 1-to-1 is still a mathematical possibility, Pimpy. So please just stop. What am I stopping about? It's funny because people come over and listen to my videos and they're mad at me. Well, don't watch the videos, man. I'm just trying to keep people grounded. I told you guys it's not going to jump up to this ridiculous exchange rate, and that it's going to increase in increments, and that's exactly what we saw. So we went from 1,450 dinars to 1,300 dinars. Bean Machine, BNB Miner is good crypto passive. Okay, whatever that means. So where am I getting the 1-to-1 exchange rate? This is where it's coming from. I had a chance to really pay attention to some of the videos put out by the World Economic Forums from Davos 2023. And when they were talking about the different economies around the world, they were talking about how everything is not in balance and should be in balance. And this guy was talking about how the exchange rates, how they figure out each country's exchange rate was unfair because there's a lot of other things that should be taken in consideration, which I actually agree with. But then he went on to say, this is why it's important for us to be in a digital currency. And I went, okay, I know what they're doing. So in order for there to be a one world government, which means all things are equal, that means the exchange rate is going to have to be 1-to-1. Each country is going to have their own central bank digital currency. But the truth of the matter is they're just going to be named differently. But they're all going to be the same is what it is. We're going to have a one world currency, a one world dollar. And in order for them to pull this off and so that all trades are equal and everybody is on a level playing field, it's going to have to be 1-to-1 is the exchange rate. And that's what they were talking about. So will it be 1-to-1? It really just depends on whether or not we don't have a choice and they push us into the central bank digital currency. Because if they do that, then there's no doubt it's going to be 1-to-1. That's only because they want a one world currency. And that is easier to calculate if all currencies are on a level playing field. So that's where the 1-to-1 comes from. Right now, the World Economic Forum's, the Great Reset, which is the New World Order, is pushing forward. Now, we seem to be slipping through their fingers, but without a doubt, they are a lot more aggressive this time around than they've been recently. And if that's the case, I know they are pushing for the central bank digital currency to hurry up and come out. And if it does make it out, you're looking at a 1-to-1 for all currencies. All right. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. Let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing back from you, and I will get back at you later. I'm out.